Hello and welcome to Jeremy's Yorkshire Allotment Adventures on what is a beautifully wet, absolutely teeming it down rain here in Yorkshire. It's magnificent. I'm absolutely soaked, but I'm not bothered. Why don't you sit back, relax, enjoy a good cuppa and enjoy the rest of the show. Well, I've escaped the rain for a moment. I'm inside my shed and because I want to answer a question that I got from a viewer, from Sheena in Derbyshire. And Sheena, you said you were looking after tomatoes for a friend of yours and they started having brown patches appear on the bottom. Now, before I start, Sheena, it's not necessarily all your fault. This will have taken time to happen. So just because you've taken over the watering doesn't mean that you've caused this. It may be just a contributing factor. You've got what's called blossom end rot. And actually, here's a photograph you sent me to prove it. You see the little brown patches on the bottom of tomatoes? Well, that can be caused by calcium deficiency, or one of the reasons. And connected to that is how you water your tomatoes. You've obviously been a bit sporadic with the watering, you've not kept on top of the watering, and so what's happened is the ground has gone a bit dry and the tomato plants can't get enough moisture, enough water out, which obviously brings all the nutrients from the soil into tomatoes, and one of those nutrients is calcium. And it could be a calcium deficiency that has caused this. What you have to do is take all of those affected tomatoes off and get rid of them, and then make sure you have a really good watering regime for these tomatoes. Don't just do it every so often. They need to have regular watering, and that should solve the problem. And please, Sheena, as I said, don't spray water directly onto your tomato plants. They don't really like it. And also, if they get too moist, that could affect, or you can get other problems down the line as well. We don't want that. So yes, water the base of your tomato plants. And if you haven't used a system like I use with the plastic bottles, you can still dig out next to them, dig a little hole and fill the hole with water. And that will eventually surround the roots with a lovely moist watering system. And if you do that every couple of days, establish it, don't overwater. I know it's very complicated with tomatoes, and cucumbers the same. If you overwater or you underwater, then there's problems either way. So, good luck with that, Sheena, and I hope that helped you and maybe a few other people that are watching at the moment. Well, here I am inside the greenhouse, keeping a little drier than I was outside a moment ago. I have the first of my beetroots, and this year I'm going to put them on a tray and roast them. And they're going to be absolutely delicious. I can't wait. Get them in a bit of vinegar, and they'll last right through to next year. Aren't they magnificent? I love coming down here after the rain's been and gone, you know, because this water butt was a quarter empty and it's now full again thanks to the amount of rain we had here in Yorkshire yesterday. But it's stopped today. It's early in the morning, the sun's coming out already. It's a little breezy, but that's fine. But it's worth having shorts on, so it's still that warm here. Now, enough about me here on my allotment. Let's go to a viewer, and Darren, Ali and Joseph in Wakefield, who sent me some more photographs of your progression on the allotment you only recently got. Do you remember it was overgrown with brambles and all sorts of things? You've cleared it, and now you've started to clear it properly. And you're doing a double dig system to get down to the roots of the brambles, which is incredible. And you've got really deep down, and you're taking the brambles out from the fence inwards, which is fantastic because that's where the brambles are coming from. And so you're stopping them in the tracks, which means if you cut them off there, then they'll die throughout the allotment. And what you can do, and what you've done is actually brilliant. You've taken it as much out of the ground as possible in a really methodical manner, and you've got to do that. I did the same with the bindweed here, if you remember when I first got my allotment. I started at the fence and worked in metre squares, and we went down at least double dig, so 2 spade lengths down, and that's at least 24 inches in my book. And well, it really does pay off. However, having said that, on my allotment at the moment, I've just discovered on this tree next to me here, and I've got to go right back now down to the roots, bindweed. I don't know how it's got here, but I'm going to find out, don't you worry. And that, just a little threat to the bindweed, will no longer be here come the end of next week. So back to Darren in Wakefield. Double dig system, really deep down, brilliant. And you, as I say, and you fill the bin full of the stuff already. Now what's fantastic was you've been digging away, doing all the hard work. You must be absolutely shattered, by the way. I know I was when I first started here. But oh, I do miss it though, Darren. It's bizarre, isn't it? All the hard work, because once you're established, it's just a matter every year of well, doing the doubles dig system, but we may not be doing that this year. But we'll look into that later on towards the autumn. So we started to infill it, and what happened is you're on an allotment with lots of neighbours round, and one of your neighbours is giving you some leeks, and so you've put the leeks in. You never expected to grow anything, which is fantastic. So you're now growing leeks. Congratulations to you, it's huge. You'll have a fantastic time. The excitement, honestly, when those leeks start to grow, absolutely brilliant, and they will shoot up rapidly over the next few months into winter. They love it being cold. Now, a little tip, Darren, I did send you a message about this. Earth up your leeks. Once they get a bit stronger, start earthing them up a little bit like potatoes, because what it'll do is eventually you'll get lovely, beautiful white stalks, white stems, and that's the part that you use. So the more they can be earthed up, keep the sun off them, they'll stop them going green, and they'll keep them nice and white. Funny enough, Ken, who gave me the book, in there, the old-fashioned book that I looked at, where you have to wear your suit and your tie whilst on doing your allotmenting, they used to dig down and plant their leeks in troughs, and then when the leeks grew, they filled them back in, and that's why they just get beautiful white stalks. So good luck with those, and look forward to seeing your progression. Well done to Darren, Ali and Joseph. Well, here I am inside the polytunnel alongside my cucumbers. Now, this is about the fourth time I've tried to film this, because every time I point at one, I call them a tomato. So hopefully now that I've mentioned that, I won't mention that these are tomatoes and not cucumbers. Anyway, here goes. I've put up a system now to hopefully enable my cucumbers to work their way along. There's a twine here. I've got some stakes in. It goes from one end of the polytunnel to the other, and they're now about to hang across this twine. When that gets full, we'll put another one in and we'll work along. These, as I've said before, are a brilliant cucumber to grow if you've never done before. I've grown these now for about 3 seasons. They're an F1 variety, and they're called Beth Alpha, and they really, really are brilliant. This one here is my 4th cucumber off here. The plant over there has got 2, 3 growing now. The one behind's got 2, and I've had a few off that as well. So they're really, you get a lot of cucumber from these, and they're only small. This is an ideal size, so cut them now, and well, we're getting some more. There's another one there. We've got some flowers here. What I have done today, I've taken a few of the leaves off, and some of the lower petals also that had flowers attached to them, because we don't want too many flowers on them, although because then you get really too many little cucumbers and not enough of the size we want. Well, thank you very much for watching Jeremy's Yorkshire Allotment Adventures. Please send in your questions, please send in your photographs, and it is jezgrows@outlook.com. If you send them there, that's my email address for this channel, and I'll get either questions or photographs that I can use in the show. Once again, thanks for Sheena for your question about the tomato and blossom end rot, and I'm very lucky that my tomatoes at the moment are doing really well. Ta-ra for now.